I woke up one morning and I felt that I could see that the sense of I am came up simultaneously as an object, and it like indirectly revealed the knowledge or the perception or the knowledge that there is a watcher very silent in in this empty void, in a sense. But I'm just adding this, but the question you formulated was very interesting, so you can continue with that.
But so if I comment on what you just said, is that the sense, what you call then the sense of I am, were in fact still a perception that was revealing the silence.
Yes.
So that the reality that you are is the silence. The silence is always present. The sense of I am came there to just as a pointer, as to because then it vanishes into this presence. But in the experience of this presence, which I call the glimpse, there is no perception, including the perception that I am, this knowledge that I am, then disappears, and but then there is no time in this place.
It's difficult to talk about because it doesn't have qualities that I normally can give to it, in a sense. Yeah.
Yes, although it has its own qualities, which I call attributes. For instance, evidence, self-evidence, reality.
It's like the first principle, maybe.
Yeah. So then going back to the question about self-consciousness, consciousness of self, or experience that I am, in the absence of perceptions. I just gave the answer, yes, precisely when what you define as a feeling or the sense I am vanishes in the background of presence, and only the background of presence remains, there are no perceptions, because the last perception was the I sense, the sense, and then it vanishes in the silence. There is nothing else there. There is no time, there is eternity, there is reality.
It's like, I find that the best word to describe it is, it is watching.
It is what?
It is watching, looking.
Watching.
But it is what we are truly, right?
Yeah.
We are this watching.
So this is the reason why I asked whether you agree that self-consciousness disappears, because this watching quality, it's like it has no qualities, and it doesn't know that it is in us. Maybe I don't know how to say it, but it's like it doesn't know that it is, but it's.
Oh yes, it knows its own existence, of course. It knows its reality.
But do you make a distinction between this watching quality and the beingness.
No.
So they are like the same.
When this watching quality is absolutely pure of anything watched.
It's pure of what? Can you repeat that?
When this watching presence is completely pure of any object, of any form, of any thought, of any perception, it's a moment of eternity in which reality reveals itself to itself, because there is nothing else there. But it is not just an absence, because an absence is still something noticeable. It's a double. I'm trying to say it's a double absence. It's an expression of the Sufi, you know. It's the absence of the absence. It's beyond the absence of objects. Because the absence of objects is still noticed. It's not always present. You see? If an object comes in, the absence of object has disappeared. So the absence of object is not the background of reality. The absence of object is like a state that still hides the background in the same way as, if I use a metaphor, the background is the tiled floor. And you have rugs on it. The rugs are a complete covering of the tiled floor. That's for the mathematicians. A complete covering of the tiled floor. And at some point, you have a rug which is kind of semi-transparent, or even transparent, made of transparent plastic, but there are still little scratches on the plastic. So it's not perfect. It looks perfect, but what you don't see through it is the real floor. So the transparent rug with the little scratches is the absence of perceptions. It is still an object. But once between two rugs, between two perceptions, there is a glimpse of the real floor. Then you know, because you touch it, it's not warm, it's hard, it's strong. It's a different experience than the rugs. And then you know it's everywhere under the rugs. And then you start seeing it here and there between rugs. It's only after the fact, if you will, that you assume a distinction between the experience that I am, which is really the experience of the background. And you construe it as being the experience of a representation of an object, of an absence. But when the true background is experienced, there is this immediacy of certainty that shines.